So let me...
I haven't finished, but
okay.
you can come back again, so no problems.
Yeah. Let me go to Oliver now. And Kofi Bentil and Oliver, thank you very much for your patience. Now, isn't it intriguing also that the people alleging that they were being attacked to the point that they needed to shoot live, arms, if the situation called for it, there is no report of injury on the part of any one of them?
Good question. Very good question.
I mean, I'm agreed with Rubako on the points as to, there's very little to assume the veracity of those claims. And even as I say this, I'm compelled to say that, well, the fact that there's no injuries on the military doesn't necessarily establish that they were not being shot at. So I would say that's clear. But I think the most important questions are being raised. And before I even get there, one of the testimonies we heard there was about the sound of the gun and things like that. And this is a person who I think at also various points I said, well, I wasn't there, but I can tell this. And so it's only speculating about sound and otherness. And it wasn't ever brought that, well, let's use sound analysis to analyze the videos. And we can tell the distinct sound profile of this gun at this shot at this particular time, and we can do that. So nothing that is going on is based on evidence or is based on any factual presentation of information. There's a lot of speculation to obfuscate and confuse and also to shift attention. And I think that is the tragedy of this process. And for me, it also goes to the root of what the committee is doing and what it's even competent to do. So directly to that question, I think the reason why we are having that difficulty is because everybody feels they can go before a committee that has zero power to compel any evidence and say anything and get away with it. Now you have to then read between the lines and say, well, because nothing backed it up or whatever it is, then there's nothing. But when you're in a situation where you cannot tell what is the purpose of the committee itself, is it a fact-finding committee? And by this, I mean, is it there to establish the hard facts and the sequence of events? That is, who did what, at what time, in what manner, and based on what information? Then you are beginning to, establish that without passing any judgment then. But already there, you have committee members already giving you their theory of what happened and suggesting it to you. Then you are very unclear as to what it is going on. You have committee members then asking your opinion as to, do you think this is proper? Do you think this is right? Again, this is straying away from what happened, who did what, and when, right? You're getting into conversations where you do not really know at this point what is the purpose or what is the committee is trying to achieve. And for me, I agree with some of the sentiments that were expressed in the letter the family said, that the terms of reference of the committee is also very nebulous. We do not clarify exactly what they can go into and what they cannot go into. And I'll give you an example about something Kweku Bako was saying as to even the scope of whether it extends into the circumstances of the death and the police inquiry. Because the family hinted at it and Kweku agrees with them. You have a situation where they are looking into questions about affiliation of Kakaa to face the country. Remember that on the 29th, when the police sent out statements on Twitter and detailed out what they were looking into, they said that we'll be investigating the affiliation of the victim with Fix the Country. And in addition to that, whether the death was connected to that activism. So the question as to his affiliation is already under police inquiry. So if you're holding a public inquiry and already making statements that are prejudicing the police, then you're intentionally prejudicing police work. So there has not been clear distinctions as to matters we can go into and matters that are already the basis of criminal work. And this is some of the things that are I would suspect are making the family apprehensive as to where the inquiry is going and what they are placing focus on. So I think these are some of the challenges we're having with what we are looking at.
So looking at things from how we began this morning of playing Kakaa's own voice and then going to the committee and up to this point of the discussion, what are the things that stick out for you?
I have a number of things, and I didn't want to respond to, for instance, the statements Kweku had made regarding the letter the country had written regarding this incident. Because truth be told, and I'm a bit familiar with a lot of the circumstances of this, that it took a very long time for Fix the Country to confirm his affiliation with Fix the Country. And so when the attack happened on him, and we had seen that one of the members of Economic Fighters League had put up the information about the attack, and we did not issue any official statements respecting it. We took a long period to try to verify the information, to also, in fact, demonstrate that he was, in fact, a Fix the Country activist. So we went through the videos, we went to talk to some members of the family and all of that. So that's what the process we did. And at this time, he was already at Komfanoche. And at 2:30 p.m., we had final confirmation that he was, in fact, an activist of Fix the Country at that point. And so we're going to release that information and ask for people to donate to his medical expenses that were piling up. About 2:35 p.m., we got the information that he had already passed on. That was even before that statement could be released. So we did. It wasn't something.
But there was a fundraiser that you put out. We saw it asking for support for his medical bills.
Yes. So the Economic Fighters League had put that out, asking for support for his medical bill.
Okay.
But that had not officially come from Fix the Country because we said we wanted to take time. They knew him as a member of Economic Fighters League, but we did not then know him as a Fix the Country activist. So we couldn't ask people to donate at that point. So at the time we had confirmed that, and before we could release anything asking for donations for his medical fund, is when he passed. Then that came into the question of interrogating under what circumstances he was attacked and what passed. And that's when we have consistently spoken to the family. And the family has consistently held that view, that he was attacked on the basis of his activism. So this is not a fanciful view that anybody is holding or has brought out from nowhere. Secondly, I think Fourth Estate broke the story yesterday as to the individual, the brother who was arrested himself, and the statement that he gave to the police, indicating that he, when he woke up, had been informed by members of the family that when he saw blood on the floor in the corridor, that Kakaa had been attacked by some politician and that he had been killed by politicians. And that this is the statement that he had made to the police, and that he believes there's no reason why he would kill his biological brother, that he believes that he was killed by politicians. The family has consistently held that view. If you watch all the interviews of the wife and of the mother and of all the family, this is the view they have expressed. The police said they are looking into that, and so we have refrained from that. But it was important that that view be given currency, because Kakaa himself has made recorded videos where he expressly said that his life was in danger, that this might be his last video. In the context, I don't think, in fact, that anything that was done or has been said was
beyond the video where he expresses, he tells us, reports to us that he has been attacked. We also, on his page, see a video where he is, in fact, being attacked verbally by a group of people. So it is not something he's reporting to us that we are unable to authenticate.
Yeah,
please go ahead.
Exactly. So there's nothing we cannot authenticate about the circumstances that credibly put a person, or we could say that the person was credibly in fear of his life in relation to his activism. And this is one of the things we said, that we have received news of his passing, and for reasons we believe to be what connected to his activism. Now, at this point, there's no statement from Fix the Country regarding when the police said they were investigating that matter, and in respect to it. But what you are seeing is that a couple of days ago, the chairman of the Joint Committee on Defense and Interior, Japan, was on Poladomo's show, pushing the narrative that Kakaa was killed by his brother. So what are you guys saying? Nobody has said, but that is premature. But that is obfuscating the process or prejudicing the work of the committee. This is chairman of the Joint Committee on Defense and Interior. Interior oversees police work as well. So we haven't even said that. Madam Tiwa gave an interview to the press. Madam Tiwa, against the director of welfare of the police, not CID, gave an interview to the press where she says that we are still in the investigations, but there's no affiliation to Fix the Country. And we do not, again, nobody says that, no. Why are you doing this when the police people who are dealing with the matter, because you're not part of the investigative team, have not formally said anything? So are you not interfering with police work? In relation to the letter Kweku Bakong had mentioned that we, Fix the Country, has also talked about, that was given to Kakaa, I think it was in April, actually. And I think we should look, I can't remember the date correctly on this. And, I understand his sentiments, Because one of the things the family had sent to us was the press statement which was issued by the police, which was singling out the brother of Idi and drawing attention away from the two other individuals that they had arrested. And our first inclination was, well, we think this letter did not emanate from the police. And I'll give you a number of reasons why we felt that at that time. First of all, when you look at that letter, it is undated. This is not consistent with any police letters usually issued by the police.
You mean the warning letter?
No, not the warning letter. The letter where they say that the brother had been arrested and do not mention the other people.
Okay. What is wrong with the police issuing a statement from the Ashanti Regional and saying that by preliminary investigations, they single out Kakaa's brother? It doesn't matter that they have 3 people. What's wrong with that?
You know, I think that one of the things that the police, when communicating to the public, has to be mindful of is that anything the police say to the public is taken as faith of the state of affairs and the totality of what they want to communicate. Now, at this point, I understand from the family that the family have never received any direct updates from the police about the investigation that is going on. So the police are speaking to the public and not the family. No point. Now, they have said, and we already knew before they issued the statement, that they had already arraigned Idi before the court together with 2 other gentlemen. So when you issue a statement for the first time talking about the totality of the persons you have arrested and arraigned, at that point, you must talk about everybody else you have in custody. Because if you do not do that, it leads to, and what we have justifiably seen, people assuming that that is the only person who has been held in connection with the murder. And I understand that Manasseh has gone on then to investigate this properly and ask them, have you exonerated the other 2 individuals? They said that no, we haven't done that. The fact that they're continually being held shows that we haven't exonerated them. So why have you issued a statement singling out this individual? They said that, well, we already clarified that it was preliminary. But yes, but your preliminary investigations also relate to 2 individuals who were part of the people who were on video threatening Kakaa. So why did you leave those out? And I think that, you know, it is not, let us not pretend that we think that it's just an oversight. It fuels and has been fueling the narrative where we are trying to shift attention to a particular individual, a particular person. Okay. So I think that is what is happening. But I wanted to make the point regarding the statement and why the letter Kakaa received, you know, about Kweku's hesitancies around it. Because when they issued that press statement I'm talking about, we gave them the benefit of the doubt. And we told the family that we are mindful that the document might not be genuine. Because we have gone through all the social feed of the police on Twitter and Facebook. And, you know, they haven't put that statement on those platforms. This is different from how they have done with all the others, including the EJURA one. Secondly, the document was not dated. And this is not consistent with the practice of the Ghana Police Service. Thirdly, when you look at the document, the signature of the regional PRO was on the right side of the document and not on the left side. And we have looked at all the other statements, they tend to be on the left side. And so we feel like we are not certain. So I sent this to Manasseh, for instance, who had done that investigative work and said that we believe that maybe you may have been premature and that the document is not in fact genuine. So this is the first thing we did. And then he sent us the number of the regional PRO. And so we called the regional PRO yesterday morning. We have seen this document. We do not believe it emanates from the police. Can you confirm this? He said, yes, I can confirm it. In fact, when I released it, I made a mistake to not put the date. And then we left it at that.
You are talking about Godwin Ahianyo.
Yes, Godwin Ahianyo. So this is what we have taken upon ourselves to do. So I see why Kweku might see a document and may see that, well, it might not look a certain way, but I think it is important that the letter itself is in fact issued by the police. And I think it's a bit premature to already say that it is fake. But it is fair to raise doubts, but not characterize it as fake. Because once you have done that, you have done a judgment of it. And I understand he has said that he was probably misled by, again, the CID. And we have seen the police fall victim to this themselves. When you see a document, you see that the police logo is not used. The next step is not to conclude there, is to go a step further by calling your officers on the ground and say, did you issue this?
Right.
Was it correct that they went for
I have confirmed that Kweku, in fact, spoke to this, police...
He's the Director General.
The Director General, and he confirmed that this is fake. In fact, he insists that the EJURA police will issue a disclaimer about it. Now, I am interested in checking on the committee's processes to double confirm that the EJURA police did not confirm that this, in fact, was issued under their hand.
They did confirm the letter. And they claimed that the circumstances were that was filming police work. What we said was that Kakaa was reported.
Yeah, in fact, there are too many people who are sending messages that they heard the police at the hearing confirming that they actually wrote to Kakaa.
Right. Okay, they gave a reason for it. Right. And they claimed there that the reason was that he was filming police in the conduct of their work. Now, first of all, it is not a crime to do that. But what we have said was that Kakaa was reported, and this is our statement, Kakaa was reported to the police for his work. Now, the report that the police claimed, did the police arrest Kakaa in the process of that work? Or that did other individuals report to the police? Because that's what we have said. So at no point has the country ever sought to obfuscate or confuse or mislead the public on this. And I think that because we do this and we've been consistent in what we are doing so that we do not add to the noise, that we bring credibility to the process.
Okay. Thank you very much. Kofi Bento, I see you've taken some notes. Let's hear from you. In the very incisive way you are able to, summarize issues and highlight them in a manner that helps us to resolve.
So, good morning to everybody. And I really associate myself with the points that have been made already. Indeed, many of them were my own notes here. So I just need to emphasize it. Let us put this in perspective. Look, sometimes we make a mess when we ignore the very obvious issues and try very hard to create a different set of facts. And I think that is what is happening here. We have a situation here where, in the face of clear evidence, we are being invited to split hairs about esoteric ideas, some of which have very little probability. For instance, like they shot themselves, like the protesters were armed. When we have video evidence, when there's a doctor that says the people were shot from the back, and we are being invited to analyze the sound of guns. At the same time, we have video evidence of people kneeling, taking aim, and then people firing, and we are leaving that. At the same time, you have a situation where a human being dies, is taken to a doctor, there's a bullet in that person, and any competent doctor in the space of maximum a few hours can take out a bullet. But for some wild reason, we are being told a story of pressure which led to the person being buried with a bullet, which is a critical piece of evidence in resolving this. We've left it. We've managed to bury the guy. You have a situation where a whole Ghana...
Kofi, sorry for this intervention so early. Should that grave be a place where right now, as we speak, there will be things done to avoid that grave being compromised?
Absolutely. If we are a serious country, that grave will be guarded and that body will be exhumed. Okay? And Samson, I don't know why we do this to ourselves. Okay? You have clear situations. I've lost a bit of the trend of my thought, but all these things. And why are we not interested in the things that we can deal with right now? We are interested in things like motive for murder. We are looking at whether the guy was a member of this or was a member of that, and whether that could have contributed to his murder. Something you and I know as lawyers, and let us educate the public now, that in certain jurisdictions, motive for murder is part of what you need to stick the charge of murder. Not in Ghana. In Ghana, when somebody is murdered, you don't need to do motive. It's taught in law school. So in this particular jurisdiction, anybody or committee who is looking for a motive is totally off. And somebody on that committee knows it and should tell them that it doesn't matter what the motive is. Once a person is seen to have illegally taken the life of another person, that person is to be arrested and processed, and that person has to bring up his own defense for which reason why he should not be charged for murder or convicted of murder and manslaughter or other things. You have a situation where people were seen doing things, but you have a family, the family that is critical. You've arrested one of them and put a charge that he probably may have killed his brother. How probable is that? And you have very senior people saying these things. And if you look at the trend of what is being said, these exoteric, far-fetched suggestions are being made. Let me make this point here. I have found nobody, not a single person, who has any confidence in the committee. It looks like they've just assembled them to waste our money and insult our intelligence. Even some of the people who are trying to use their narrative to, toe a certain line are being cautious about it. What I can say clearly is that that committee looks like they are searching for a narrative to support a preset story. And nobody is buying it. Look, three human beings
Is this
are
fair
dead.
commentary on the committee?
No, I'm saying that I have found nobody. And it looks like they are fishing for a narrative to support a preset story. I'll just give you some background to the fact. Look, 3 human beings are dead. Okay? You have a situation where we are being told that the military was called in. The Ghana police is about 2 times the number of persons we have in the army. They are far more than the army. The Ghana police has specially trained units for crowd control. The Ghana police has special equipment for crowd control that the army does not have. What happened in EJURA is by no means even beyond the Ashanti Region Police. You have a situation where the police itself has a divided rank. Some people, the police are clearly using branding material, letterheads, etc., which are not accepted by the wider police. And by the way, we should take a very serious look at that. I agree with Kweku. We must forensically find where that document is coming from. And if we are a self-respecting country and somebody tries to use the police for something which is clearly illegal, it is not just a matter of sacking them. It is very, very serious.
Kofi, okay. At the last time when this letter came up, I have as many as 4 messages from police officers, one from a military officer. They are all telling me that this is a big lie. And the police officers confirm that they use both the coat of arms and their police logo.
So we are saying the Ghana police is divided in terms of their own branding material. Now, when you have that situation with a national police, you have a major security problem. Why? Because if we cannot be clear what the national the police brand is, police letterhead is, then anybody can cook up anything and do it. And it's been done. People have done that. People have, written things and put police letterheads on it. Okay, so we have a huge problem and we should deal with it because Kweku is telling you some people very high up are saying this is a fake document and other people have gone on a committee and said that this is, true. Again, the same Ghana police. You have a situation where an activist, and by the way, our constitution actually encourages activism. We have the perpetual clause in our constitution that says that if anybody overthrows this constitution, however long it takes, we should be activists to try and reinstate it, including taking up arms. I can go through all the things in the constitution that support activism. You have an activist doing work which is essential. He lives in a community where clearly the authorities there have shared their responsibility. And he's doing his little work, nobody's paying him for it, and he is threatened. And he records it and he puts it on air. And the threat happens. And we still don't have anybody arrested. So we have these things there, they have been ignored. And then somebody is inviting us to go and look for some very weird situations. That is totally taken away from any respect we have for the committee. And frankly, I'm not sure about the legal remit of the committee and what they are, capable of doing and what they are not capable of doing.
So that will bring me to my final question to you, Kofi. To the extent that, for example, Oliver is raising the issue of sound analysis, that the bullet sound analysis. Kweku raised the very critical matter of the shells and the bullet analysis. Will that suggest to you then that we are using the wrong approach to finding the solution?
No, they are saying those things because somebody else has raised
as in the committee. Is the committee the wrong approach to finding the solution?
Oh, absolutely. The committee is lost in the woods, and I'm not missing words about it. The committee, no matter how good their intentions, we judge people by what they do.
We can give them the benefit of the doubt. And if the suggestion was that there's the need for sound analysis and bullet or whatever, ballistic analysis, they could engage the experts to do that for them to help their report. Is that not so?
No. Why is there a need for sound analysis?
Because there was an officer who went to them and says, when we hear the sound of a gun, we can tell the type of a gun.
We are being invited to investigate and go into esoteric things. Where is the video for that demonstration where people were shot? How come we don't have the names? Look, when somebody shoots something, even in the army or in the police, out of the standard operating procedure, that person has left the police and has become a criminal. You arrest them, you isolate them, you process them, and let them defend themselves. Something that if a policeman misconducts himself out of order, he is on his own, and he even has to pay his own lawyer.
Yeah, we all go and defend them. But Kofi, is it not possible?
No, is it not possible? Let me make my point.
Is it not possible? I'm still on the sound analysis, ballistic analysis. Is it not possible also to check within the military? Because when you are taking shells, when you are taking bullets, they would have been numbered for you, counted for you, so that they know who shot. Because this officer claims they only shot warning shots, not live ammunition.
That's the point I'm making. The point I'm making, and the breaks is making me lose a bit of my train. But the point is, when you go into theater like this, you go into an theater of operation like this, they should know the number of people who went and the names of the people. They should know the guns they were issued and the number of bullets they were issued. And they have to do bullet accounting. Have they done that? If you've done your bullet accounting and somebody has lost bullets because bullets were shot, you will know that this person and this person has. Why don't we have that information? We are being asked to go and analyze sound. Okay, what I'm saying is that committee, based on what they are saying, what they are doing, what we are hearing, is far away in the weeds.
Okay.
Looking for things we shouldn't be looking for, when clearly there are things we should be dealing with, like the bullet in the grave right now.
Right.
So, Samson, the point is this. It doesn't seem like we want to get to the bottom of this matter. Because if we wanted to, it should be easier than where we are now.
Okay.
3 people are dead. Somebody killed them. Those people are still around. There is video evidence. There should be bullet accounting. This is a matter where the police, very organized, regimented, and the army were the people involved. They should have full, proper accounting. And the obvious things that are there, they said they found intelligence and somebody asked for whatever. They didn't go and use the intelligence. If you analyze this bullet by bullet, point by point, this is catastrophic, cascading failure.
Okay.
And I don't think people have to keep their jobs.
Okay, thank you. I need to take a break, and then we'll return to deal with the matters of whether or not the spouses of the president and the vice should be paid salaries now. Of course, salaries for last 4 years, and perhaps salaries for the next 4 years, and then after they have left office to be paid some portion of it. But before I take that break, it's only fair. Kwaku, let's mop up quickly. You said you needed to come back before I went to Oliver. Yeah, quickly.
On the relative to the letter, the police warning letter.
Okay.
As I indicated, I did my checks at the highest level, in this case, the Director General of the CID. And he assured me that it was fake and gave reasons for why he thought it was fake. No name of the specific officer, no reference numbers, and then most importantly, the use of the coat of arms. Now I'm being told here that at the committee of inquiry, the EJURA police authenticated it, which is in sharp contrast with what the CID boss had said.
And police officers also say they use the two interchangeably, the coat of arms and the police logo.
Yes. That's what you are telling me now.
Yes.
And then Kwame Sapon-Sidu has also told me he watched the proceedings himself. And that's
there are many like him who have confirmed it.
To that extent, even though I've asked the CID boss to respond, he hasn't. I would, at this stage, retract and apologize relative to. I didn't seek to misinform or disinform. It was based on information given to me at the highest level of the CID. So for now,
it certainly was a genuine inquiry. Okay, so we take a break.
This has brought out something interesting.
Right.
That the police sitting at the headquarters believe that this is what should be on the police letterheads. The police down there are also doing something different. I mean, this is obviously a crisis situation for an institution. It doesn't speak well for the police.
Okay.
Yeah. They should standardize.
Right. Thank you very much. And we will take a break here and return to do the issue that most of you have been commenting and you seem livid, including some few people in the NPP, among one of them having actually gone to the Supreme Court about this matter. But it has to be said that Kakaa seemed to have been a person with a good heart. He was doing a very good job to support his community. And he was candid about it, irrespective of his illiteracy, quote unquote. He did what he felt will reach those who need to know to come to the aid of his community. Let's all be Kakaa in our communities. We'll be right back.